Hey guys, welcome in. Today we're going to be looking at the CADIAN shock troopers. For what it's worth, these guys are a very cheap unit at 35. It's the second cheapest unit, and actually the lowest is a 30 cost. So you can actually outfit a crap ton of these guys. Just like on tabletop, you generally have a ton of just pot shotting, right? Now there are two variants of the CADIAN shock troopers. The first one comes with a frag grenade. Actually, you can use two of them, and then the other guys have bayonets. Now the bayonets are fantastic for if something goes to attack you, they will automatically get a bonus in attacking back. Also, as a last minute charge, you can run them into the enemy as well. The only downside between the two would be that the bayonets, it loses an optimal range from 3 to 2. Also, the accuracy goes down by 5 because you have 70 as your base here and 75 as your base with the normal las gun. With the first loadout, you get yourself frag grenades. You get 2 of them, and you know, obviously with the splash damage, that's going to be really helpful when you're going against the really low tier mass amounts of units, for instance, like goblins. Very good against them. In terms of the stats, at 30 health per unit, 1 action point, 4 movement, which is average, 2 armor, which is below average. Average would be around 4, and evasion at 5, which is average for units like this. Some of these things may be on the low end, but with 9 units on the field, that can add up pretty quick to individual damage, which is fantastic. The cohesion level starts at 8, and if you go over, of course, you can't gain momentum. You'll see that, and it'll indicate it as everything turns red. Now, I don't think it's that big of a deal with these guys because, yes, you could do a little more damage with 1 troop if you do get that 100 momentum, but the other thing is that it could give you 1 extra AP, right? So another chance to shoot. I just don't think it's as important. These guys are going to do tactical little damage as well as just keep the enemy at bay. Finally, with all infantries here within Astra Militarum, they all get this infantry role where unit with this status will protect officers, granting embedded officers status when standing in an adjacent tile. Officers are going to be the orange guys here, which we will go over in a separate video. Let's check out what they can do on the battlefield. Quick deal. The troops have 10 units, not 9, which is even better since they all have 30 health per unit. The thing you're going to notice right now, at least for my setup, I'm having all these troops out front with the bayonets. We're facing Tyranids, so facing like a Gaunt. Really good against them because they run up. The Gaunts are really great in general, just taking out guys like this, really fodder. But we're going to at least be able to do some sort of damage back to them. Other things like Goblins are really good to take those guys on as well. The more lighter units, that's going to be helpful. Also, you have that charge ability, having the bayonets out front. Now, if you were to put the other Grenadier type of style units here, you can put them in the back, so when they crash the line, these guys can lob grenades over top, and then these guys can attack with either in melee or they can shoot, which isn't great at close range, but they do actually get a better close range shot because the weapons are a little heavier. Now, some of the things that these troops can do in good provision, at least, is you can put them inside of the Chimera, which in doing so, you're going to be able to get to certain areas of the battle within the next turn. The soldiers pop out, they can do their damage. Now, granted, this is just the key component to what the Chimera is, but yeah, it's just another strategy that you can use with these guys, or even the bayonets popping out and taking a quick kill and then hopping back in. You are able to do that because it's only a cost of 2 to go in and out. Now that we have our setup, I've got all of my units along here, all the bayonets. We got some of our Grenadier in the back. We have our Commissar in the back here as well. Now he has a 40 bonus because of the cohesion of our units around him. He only benefits from these adjacent front and back units. That's neither here nor there, except for the fact that it does matter when you have these troops, okay? Not to sell you on the bayonet portion of it, but I do think the bayonet has a great deal of utility depending on the units that you're facing. So with that being said, if I was to do a charge on these gargoyles, I would do at minimum, providing that we hit everything, an 80 total damage overall to the different units. That's actually pretty good. And granted, these guys, if we want to get more information, I'll left click and you can see on there's only 1 armor and they have 20 evasion. So that's where we're in that weird hit chance of 70, but we do have good damage that will roll off onto them. There's also a crit chance of 10%, and you can learn about the unit if you guys didn't already know this thing. So let's do a quick charge here. That was actually pretty nice. we took out half their health, and one actually died. So that's, in general, it's pretty solid. Let's do another charge. Let's see if we can do it from here. We can. This is a Prime. Prime is one of the leaders, and he has 6 armor. So obviously we're going to come down in damage, and this is not something I would suggest. However, if you are behind him, you can get that crit bonus. So let's just do that now.
Charge!
We did a total of 46 damage to him, and that's actually not bad for what it's worth. And he didn't attack us back, which actually I'm kind of surprised by. I thought that we would get it. I know if we're... So this is probably because we're already set in his... Yeah, now he's going to attack. It's because we charged him. So even with him doing a one attack, he only killed one of our soldiers. And we'll do another. Why the hell not? I'm telling you guys right now, if you've used the CADIAN troops here, the shock troops, this is impressive. This is actually impressive. It took down half of Prime's health. And if you look again, 6 armor, 15 evasion, this is impressive. Now, if we're looking at it from the other standpoint, I did talk about how we have these other CADIAN troops in the back. Let's move them up, and we're going to use the grenades. In fact, we don't even have to come this close. Grenades themselves end up going out 2nd and 3rd tile away. So you do have that. And this is where you have the dual strategy. Because when you do those, when you charge and attack, you get them where you want them. You have their health, and then you can do this. Now, the one thing I won't advise is this right here. Grenades are not good against single targets. That one grenade did so much to so many. Boom, he only got 2. That's because, well, number 1, the armor. So let's go back to the grenade real quick. The grenade is only 1 armor piercing. So obviously it made a lot of sense for the gargoyle because gargoyle only has 1 armor. However, even a 2 armor unit, you can still end up pulling out like 18 to 26, I believe is what it is. So just keep that in mind. Again, grenades are not crazy, and this is why the bayonet to me is the more optimal thing to have. But it's always great to have grenades because of the swarming odds. Okay, more swarming units, the worse it gets. The show them steal, that was the thing I was going to show you guys. So when you do this, the affected area units add 25% more melee damage, 25% better crit chance, and cannot be suppressed. So this allows you to charge into the enemy without them shooting at you if they have Overwatch going on. I've been reluctant to talk more about the Commissar because that's going to be another video, so just keep that in mind. Okay, here we go. Right, so they come in for the attack, and we attack back, and it's actually pretty... Look how much damage we did to them, and this is the point that I'm trying to make here. These guys are, yes, getting hit a bunch. I would even venture to say more of the tanking the shots. It's only 1 troop that we're dissolving they're dissolving right now. Yeah, flamethrowers absolutely decimate these guys. Anybody with a heavy flamethrower is going to instantly kill these guys, so keep that in mind as well. Now, the big question, is it a good unit? Before I answer that, if you could, just take 2 seconds to hit that like. Also comment, is there a strategy that I missed, and is this a staple for your army? Now, the question is to be answered. Yes, it is a great unit. It is a unit that you need to have in your army. Personally, I believe you can go without. You could go with like ogres, for instance, big brutes that have like shotguns, and they can do melee as well. They may be a little better at it, but these guys, you can get 3 stacks before you can get 1 stack of ogres. And when you put bayonets on top of these guys, they're even better. They have the charge ability, they have the ability to still be able to hammer a little bit down range, they have the defense. It's actually very good when it comes to your Commissar because of the special ability he has. It's almost a match made in heaven. The idea is to have these guys stand out there, take the brunt, so that your bigger boys can do bigger damage. That's the idea. Personally, in my runs, I like to have at least 5 of these guys. If I get further along in like planetary supremacy, I would go up to 8. It just depends on my point in my composition. Having tanks in front of these guys, if you don't go with the bayonets, is also really good if you have grenades. Really, it depends on the faction that you're facing, whether or not that's going to be viable. Grenades are great for more piled up guys. The problem is the armor. However, again, bayonets win the day in that regard and makes them way more viable for your everyday fight. So that being said, guys, hopefully you feel the same way. If you don't, let me know. And without further ado, I will see you in the next video.